Welcome to this video on Maslow's model of motivation. You will be introduced to the model and its improvement. I will guide you on the behalf of Reinventing. So let's get started to understand Maslow's model of motivation. Needs and hierarchy are the core concepts of motivation. Needs refer to requirements of life. Examples are food, shelter, clothing, art, and most importantly purpose. Hierarchy in thought is essential to understanding and knowledge. Let's look at hierarchy. In mathematics, first we learn counting, then addition, then multiplication, and then algebra. Hierarchy. In physics, first we learn linear motion, then energy, then rotatory motion, then thermodynamics, then electrostatics, and then electromagnetism. Coming back to Maslow's model of motivation, we have physiological needs like food, shelter, clothing, the physical and biological requirements, security needs like rule of law and insurance, then social relationships, then reputation, and self-actualization, for converting individuals' potentiality to actuality. So here is similar hierarchy in Maslow's model. First we should satisfy physiological needs, then safety needs, then social, then emotional, and finally self-actualization. Now we analyze Maslow's model more. The model of thought claims one should satisfy bodily needs first, and then only satisfy needs like purpose and art. In general, prior needs set the context for later needs. That is, if emotional needs follow social needs, then person necessarily needs good company. And lonely person is a sad person. And only emotional satisfaction leads to self-actualization. To reinvent Maslow's model, we study values. Values coming from conscious selection of goals. Goals that lead to survival, and more. That is not only immediate survival, but also make us more capable of surviving. Food, shelter, clothing, medicine-related and safety tools. First type of values, that is. Coming to second type of values. These are machines like cars, elevators, washing machines and computers, or movies or video games, sports, and ambience, for emotional recharge. Books and intellectual institutions like schools, or government. All these together are examples of values. So this is the first property. Flourish being the capability to survive. Photosynthesis and heart activity are non-value needs. Therefore, we come to second property. The conscious selection. Example: reluctance makes school non-value to a child. Action in pursuit is the third property. The most visible of three properties. Taking example of value apple. It has properties of life-sustaining and conscious selection, but without plucking or buying. The value aspect of apple remains incomplete. So usefulness for life, conscious selection, and action for achieving. Form definition of value. Coming to central purpose of life. It's needed to understand pursuit of values. It involves purpose and goals. For central purpose, goals have to be long-term, or at least medium-term. Professional responsibilities cannot be ignored at the cost of short-term, like lunch or movie. Central purpose of life is needed to connect all our relevant decisions, from physiological to art to intellectual. More connected the action, bigger the claim of action on person. So the decisions through CPL are related to product, related to career decisions, or finance-related decisions, maybe even lobbying-related decisions. Also decisions related to family matters, decisions related to fitness, etc. Through CPL only these decisions are properly possible. To summarize, decisions are related to time, money, or people. CPL of Steve Jobs, for example. It was building tools for human mind. An abstract goal for connecting wide-ranging decisions. Decisions from career to personal life.
Connecting CPL to productiveness, transforming ideas to reality that is. Productiveness is directly connected to survival, making it complex. And therefore productiveness should be a central motivation. CPL first of all has to be a statement of action. Building being statement of action, for example. Tools for human mind being corresponding production item. Production item should be of high value to producer and others in society. After actionable statement. Abstractness, as we discussed before, is the second attribute of CPL. Abstractness used for connecting diverse actions. After abstract. Personal being the third attribute of CPL. Connecting nature of an individual, his wants, and the nature of his society. CPL logically derived from all three. Strong emotional response being initial trail though.
Coming to fourth attribute of CPL after personal statement. Probability of income from it. To pay for one's way. Some CPLs like engineering or fiction writing enable decent income. Others like poetry writing do not. In second case, day job is needed. So abstract. Personal statement of action. With probability of income forms CPL.
Coming back to Maslow's model of motivation. This time from the perspective of values and CPL. Not a chosen few but all adults should be motivated by self-actualization. Self-actualization therefore is quite similar to CPL. All decisions of other needs should be driven by CPL. For example, CEO needs a bigger social circle. And scientist a smaller circle. Because CEO focuses on collaborative actions. And scientist on in-depth study. So CPL or self-actualization sets the context for social needs, safety needs, and retiring early. These are negative factors and therefore not fit for primary motivation. So CPL sets the context for security needs also. Coming to connection of CPL and emotional needs. Art and sports act like emotional fuel, moving an individual in the direction of CPL. Further, emotions enable skill development, because both are driven by subconscious, and skill helps to fulfill physiological needs. So emotional needs set the context for physiological needs, and CPL for emotional needs. Completely, however, CPL need not be productive. Unfortunately, it can also be destructive. Communism, Nazi movement, Salafist movement, and Indian socialism had individuals of destructive CPL. Enjoying like traveling and partying even though quite popular are not right CPLs due to non-productiveness. Instead CPLs should be productive. Like that of Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, American founders, Walt Disney, and Narendra Modi. So overall humans should be motivated by purpose. Coming to new model of motivation, driven by values and purpose. First, an individual should select long-term or medium-term CPL. Then respond to emotions based on CPL. Then moving on to identify physiological needs from these two. Then from these, develop security net, considering social needs at the very end. So now we conclude, that is not to make needs like physiological, social, or security primary. Instead, primary should be central purpose of life or self-actualization.
Thank you. And do check Rahim's book,